Welcome back everybody, King Ray here, and I'm your host for this evening. Today I'm just going to be doing a small redstone tutorial. Well, not quite small, as you can tell the machine is quite large. But this, if you know who Sparks and Crazy Man is, Sparks created a generator inside of his survival world that creates power for a power station for the rest of his buildings all around his base. So I thought, why don't I build it, improve on it a little bit, and do a tutorial on it for you. Now, you may be asking, what is improved on this? Well, the fact is, you can tell it how much power you want it to use instead of being one generator, being two. Of course, you could replace all this with rotten flesh like he did, and it still will be the same effect. It's at 14 power here, and it will be at 14 power right here, if no power is being used. Pardon me. So now, the basic concept of what is going on is you've got a fuel source, and every once in a while, the fuel source is destroyed by having it spit out. So once it spits out a fuel source, it starts getting less and less power here until you run out of power to 0 power. Once you run out of 0 power, then none of your stuff can be powered. And the same goes for if you reach 0 power over there, whatever connects over there needs to be powered, so you'll have to put a new fuel source in. This clock is a pretty long clock with lots of repeaters at its 4th tick, and it just repeats itself as so. Now, you don't have to have that at all. That was just for me to start the clock when I didn't have the on-off switch, which is over here. Now, the green button connects to this, which is a I believe they call it a NOT gate. I haven't worked with Redstone like this in a while. I've been working a lot with command blocks. So basically, when this turns on, it will power this, which turns this off, this torch off, which then unpowers this repeater, which unlocks this repeater, allowing the clock to go. In turn, this will turn on, which will keep this off. Over on this side, the line goes over to the clock and powers the clock. Also, it gives power to the dispenser. So the initial startup uses 1 power, like it does in most cases in real life. Now, pardon me, the red button hooks up to this line under here, which then connects to this redstone torch. If this is powered, it unpowers this, and then it goes over here and turns on this power. I'll show you it in work. There you go. It's on. Going around. And then watch as it spits out. There we go. Now we can turn it off by the red button. Now, whatever power was already put out before you press the red button will continue on, and then once it reaches the end here, it will say, okay, I cannot go any further, and it will deplete itself. Now, that is the on-off switch, and now we're going to the power on off. So if your machine is turned off, this here not only powers this redstone here, but the torch also powers the block above, along with the redstone going above and wraps around, which connects to this repeater, and it gives it a power of 15. So then it cannot produce any power whatsoever. That is taking no fuel, and because it's not using up fuel, the power is not coming out, which means anything that needs power does not have power come to it. Now, I'm going to show you the smart line that I borrowed from Sparks. I don't know if he calls it smart line or smart redstone or something like that, but basically it's a memory thing. So it says this is a 14 power, 14 power, 14 power, and then this says it's 14 power, 14 power, and 14 power. It just keeps on going to 14. So the power stays the same. A reason why I say this is a 15 house or 15 power supply, or a 14, something like that, is because of the input output here. The output, no, sorry, the input is at a 15 length, so it only uses 1 power. By the time it gets here, the comparator says there's 1 power behind me, let's send it through here. Since this is on, I believe, subtraction mode, whenever you do that, it will say, okay, so there's 1 power it wants me to subtract, so instead of being 14, it goes to 13. Alright, so now that is the input power for the power supply. This is the output power. Connects to this top block here. Put a repeater, connect it to a block which has redstone on it. Then put a repeater there. And then just make your line underground and put it as far as you need it to. Now we're going to get into what allows you to turn your lights on and off. Right now I can't turn it on and off because, well, the power plant is turned off. So let's go to the power plant, shall we? And 1, 2, 3, and there we go. Yay, it's on. So, now the lights are on, the lights are off. Lights are on, lights are off. So, basically what is going on is, this is the output from the generator, and it goes into a opposite switch, a inverter, there we go. So it keeps the inverter off, which will keep this inverter from going off if it's ever not powered. So let me show you. Bam. And see, the inverter now works, which then goes up, which connects to the lights up there. Now, whenever we go turn it off, the redstone that is connected to the side here then travels down through this little area and connects to this block, which turns off this inverter, which turns off the power up there. Now, when you're using any of the power, It also travels underground through, up to, and around to this part, which then tells you it's using 1 power, which other departments will only use 1 power, etc., etc., etc. But also what you can do to make it more realistic is if you've got a rich area or a gigantic factory that you want to say, let's say, use 3 power, well, you can go over here and reduce it by 1, 2, well, if you put it there, then the redstone, actually you can, yeah, you can put it there, because what you would do is you'd put a block there and have it go through there. So that's basically how you build this machine. It's quite easy, very expensive. You don't have to use iron blocks like I did. It just looked nicer. Let's turn this baby off. Boop. And there we go. A nice little power generator. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, please leave a big fat like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. I'm also going to have Sparks and Crazy Man's channel / video to that in my description. So I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye now and enjoy.